Nicole's grabbing a beverage, and I have nothing interesting to say at the current moment. I'm just waiting to see what Nicole has to say about this awful film. I'm sorry. I gave two.
You cannot say that until I'm here.
I'm sorry.
I don't think the film was. We're gonna have words today. I think we're gonna have words today. Let me get all my shit situated. I have a fridge in my office recording studio. I don't know. What are we calling this place?
Garoffice?
My garoffice. It's the old fridge that used to be in the kitchen. And
so you have a new fridge in the kitchen?
Well, new as in like 3 years ago, you know.
Oh.
And when Chris was like, let's put the old fridge in the garage, I was like, you're fucking crazy. We don't need 2 fridges.
Yes, you do.
As it turns out, we do.
You're the one who's fucking crazy, Nicole.
I am fucking crazy. Like, I can't believe I lived my life without... How do people live with 1 fridge? How do people live in a 1 fridge household?
I don't know. We have 2 fridges. We have a fridge back there. We have a fridge upstairs. We have a freezer in the garage.
Why do we need so many places to store our food?
Like 5 dead bodies. Like, it is like a freezer of... It is not that we would...
I mean, it's too late now. It's too late now to say that on air. You've already been flagged by the FBI.
No, I'm just saying it's a very big freezer.
You gotta have a fridge for your drinks, and before the to-go food goes to die.
Yes,
like you gotta have a place to forget about your to-go food.
And for guests,
you have a guest fridge.
It's a guest fridge. It's what we use.
How many guests do you have going through your fridge?
Just one.
I feel like I've never gone through your fridge once.
No. I mean, there's a guest.
I know. Welcome to the Adam and Andy podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole.
I'm your other host, Sarah.
And this, while you might think this is a podcast about fridges, it's not. It's well, it kind of is. If you consider Adam Driver to be a fridge of a human being.
Oh my God.
That's what people say on Twitter.
No.
I didn't plan that. It just made it. It just worked out that way. No. This is a podcast about 2 of our favorite actors, Adam Driver and Andy Samberg. We're watching their movies. We're watching TV shows. We are contemplating the careers, the body of work.
Yes.
The bodies of work of these 2 fine actors. That's what we do here. So today's film is Tracks. So Tracks. Or I can't do an Australian accent. I don't know about you, Sarah.
Tracks. I don't know. That's
pretty good.
A bit like it. I can't do it.
No. It was good for a second though.
I can't do it. I'm not a good Australian accent person.
We'll work on it.
Okay.
We'll work on it. So I guess I was getting a beverage, so I didn't hear, but I guess you've already heard what Sarah thinks of this film. I think this is going to be a day where we're gonna come to blows.
Tracks is trash.
I loved this movie. I'm just gonna say it. I loved it.
I knew you would either love it or you would hate it, or you would. I knew you would eat.
Well, those are the 2 choices, right?
Well, you could be indifferent to it, or you can think it's okay.
I thought it was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. We'll get into it in a moment. You did not like it.
No, start to finish, hated it.
Wow, like there wasn't even a moment where you liked it. But you said in your text you liked Adam though.
Adam, yes, you're correct. You're correct. I did like all of the moments with him. He was the only good thing about this film to me.
Okay, I do not agree, but I'm looking forward to hashing it out with you. So today's film is Tracks. But before we get into that, would you like to get into a little Adam and Andy news?
Please.
All right, so let's get into some Adam and Andy news. I'm a little light on news this week. Sorry, sorry, listeners. Not a whole lot. I'm sure the moment that we wrap up this recording, there'll be like tons of news items. This is what usually happens when we have a late day. It's like the next day, there's like a deluge. There's a an Australian sandstorm of news. Typically the day after a light day, but today's kind of light. So, do you want to get some Adam news or some Andy news first?
Andy news.
Andy news. So, all I've got really, of course, Brooklyn Nine-Nine's still shooting. And so the Lonely Island song "I'm on a Boat" was recently on number 76 on Billboard's 100 Greatest Song Bridges of All Time.
Oh,
so that's cool.
Okay.
I mean, it's catchy as hell.
Yeah.
So that does, that seems to check out. That's it. That's all I got for Andy.
Wow.
Not a whole lot.
Yikes. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's he can't be everywhere at all times.
True.
I do so I have some Adam news. The Annette film. So Annette, which of course will be premiering at Cannes shortly in a couple months here. The US release date for Annette is going to be August 2021. So we just have a couple more months to wait for Annette. Wow. And it will be streaming on August 20th.
What was it? Was it shot in like 2016 or something?
No, I believe it was shot in 2019.
Okay.
I think it was shot in 2019. It was supposed to premiere at Cannes in 2020. Obviously, that was put off because of the pandemic. But now it will be premiering at Cannes in July. It will be released in the US in August, and you can watch it on any device August 20th.
Except for iPads. I'm just kidding.
It is streaming on, I think, Amazon Prime.
Okay.
I might be wrong about that, listeners. If I'm wrong, correct me at AdamAndyPod on Twitter. I believe it's streaming on Amazon Prime. ? There is one more thing that I did want to show you that I saw on Twitter this week, Sarah. So I'm going to go to the screen share for that, and that is a John Oliver generator for Adam Driver thirst.
Oliver Driver generator. Oh my god!
It is the
Blaster my badonkadonk, you naughty buffalo.
Yes. So you can create a meme if you want and share it with your friends. It is I don't know who the brilliant person is that put this together. If you know, tweet at us at AdamAndyPod. Who is the brilliant internet mastermind that put this website together? OliverDriverGenerator.com. Let me generate another one here. And Sarah, you can read it off for me.
Moisturize my muffin top, you insatiable sphinx.
Yes. I could do this all day.
Please, no one moisturize my muffin top.
I mean, in the summertime, a moist muffin top is better than a dry muffin top, don't you think? All right, one more.
Okay. Lick my toes, you catastrophic glacier.
Yeah, I think that's the one. That's the memeable one. Anyway, just thought I'd share that. It's kind of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's it. That's all I got for the news.
Yay.
I'm sure something else happened, but I didn't make a note of it on Twitter. So, but that's all I've got for today. So I guess it's time to get into the main topic today, which is Tracks 2014.
13.
Amazon told me it was 2014. Actually, I think I watched it on some free IMDb.
Google told me it's 20.
Oh, you might be right. I'm going to go with you. Do you have facts? Because I didn't write down any facts. 2013. I mean, I know it's based on the book, which, by the way, I know there's you just look up the Twitter handle here, but there is a group on Twitter that does a book club. It
says
2013.
13.
Yes. Creative License on Twitter does a book club. And they did read Tracks on the book for their book club. So that's, of course, based on a book, which is based on a article for National Geographic from the 70s that featured the writing of Robin Davidson and the journey of Robin Davidson and the photographs of Rick Smolin? Not really sure how to pronounce that. But of course, Mia, Wachowski? Plays Robin in the film, Adam Driver plays Rick in the film. And then there's some other folks in there, periodic throughout the film, but mostly those two and some
And
camels.
mostly just her.
It's mostly her and some camels and a dog. So let's just get this out of the way. You did not like this movie, Sarah.
No, let me start off with why. I'm not
Okay.
going to tell the whole thing, but
That's fine.
Right off the bat, the first few shots, I am like, oh, this is a serious film. Like
Okay.
they want me to know that this is a serious film because the shots are very pretty, but they don't mean anything to me yet.
Okay.
And I would say that throughout the film, it is a superficial look at her life, and it doesn't delve deeply into the emotion, doesn't delve deeply into her history or her relationship with Rick. Like there's no depth. It's just nice shots. Like that's what I thought this film was just, ooh, that looks pretty, and oh, here's some dead animals, and you know how I feel about
I know.
animals.
Well, you know how I feel about animals. That's some of that stuff was pretty tough for me. I think that's fair that you have a response to that. I mean, we're not going to connect to everything. I had the opposite reaction. I felt that the film was beautifully shot, and I actually felt that I found her journey to be quite emotional. I thought that it was very simple. I felt like it wasn't super plot heavy. It was really just kind of like following along with this person. But I feel like they, without beating me over the head with it, gave me some pretty understandable reasons why this person would have difficulty connecting with others, which I felt like was the sort of the main the main conflict between. Now I'm going to speak about Rick and Robin, the movie characters. I did a tiny bit of reading about the real people, not a whole lot, but they actually had a much deeper friendship than the movie portrays. So I don't think I think the movie was sort of portraying their relationship in a certain way for dramatic license. But I think the main conflict in their relationship was simply that she just couldn't connect with people. And that part of I don't want to talk too much yet about why I think she was out there. But so I felt like, and we can get into this, I guess when we get to some of these scenes, but I felt like, oh, I get it. I get why he is so difficult for her to let in. I get it why she wants to be out there alone and needs to be broken down in this way. Like, I understood it through the film. I'm not saying I would have made all the choices that she made, but I actually found the movie to be very emotional. I thought about it a lot after I watched it today. So I think I had a very opposite reaction to it. I actually did find it to be quite meaningful.
Yeah.
So
I want to, hear more what you have to say about all those things.
Well, let's just start with Robin. So Robin wants to walk 2,000 miles across the Australian outback with some camels and her dog. She's not even sure, I think, why she wants to do it. She says that her dad did some trekking. We don't know really we don't know much about her mom. She doesn't really talk about her too much. We do get some information about what happened to her later, but she doesn't talk about her in the way that she talks about her dad. Although she doesn't even really seem to know that much about him either, or doesn't reveal that much about him. But so Robin, let's talk about this. Why do you think why does she want to do this? Why does she want to walk across the desert alone?
I guess that was one of my problems with it, is that I couldn't connect to her. Maybe it was the actor or the way it was written. I couldn't empathize with her. I couldn't relate to her. I was like, okay, the film is telling me that she had a difficult relationship with her parents, and so she's dysfunctional, which is like, that's how life works. Like, if you have a bad relationship with your parents, you have issues. But I feel like that's all it was. Like, there were no details. There were no, like, it wasn't like clearly like, here's some snapshots of her life with them. There were no flashbacks. There was
that's actually not true. There actually is. There are some very significant flashbacks at the end.
Well, Yes, but just very brief,
Mhm.
and it didn't it
So
didn't
that but and it didn't work for you.
it didn't work for me. No.
I didn't need any
Um,
more than what I was given, honestly. I think maybe I think let's you know what I would like to talk about. I think now's a good time to bring Rick in to talk about maybe why she's out there. So Rick, of course, so we the first part of the film is and I understand I think why this movie may not appeal to you, Sarah, because knowing you and what you want from movies, I think you need a lot of details. And this movie doesn't give you a lot of details. It doesn't tell you how she did certain things out there. Like it doesn't like yes, he leaves her water at some point, but it doesn't tell you how she got water or food.
I don't care about that.
Yeah, but it doesn't there's a lot of things it doesn't tell you. I think it's very not explicit about certain things, and I know that you like details, but a lot of those details I think you're asking for, like more flashbacks and things like that. I feel like I got everything I needed out of let's start with her family. Everything I need to know about her relationship with her family, I got from the family's visit to her before she left, the flashback about her family, and the way she treats literally everybody in the movie.
Mhm.
Like she does,
What was
she will
about
not
her
let people get
her
close to her.
family? What was the first thing about her family? Like,
So
I forgot.
so she's the first part of the movie is her like on a couple of ranches trying to get some camels so she can make this journey, right?
Right.
Then then her friend who is seems very concerned about her because she's her friend from wherever she was before. Um brings some other friends with her, like she's basically living in a she's squatting. Robin is,
Yeah.
right? She's squatting in a building with her dog.
Mhm.
And this is how she meets Rick. And she, by the way, what did you think about Adam's introduction? I know we're jumping around a lot, but I feel like we'll just kind of take these things as they come.
I mean, I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
I liked his character. I often don't like the characters he plays,
Mm-hmm.
but I liked this character a lot. He was very wholesome and
Mm-hmm.
like
Yes.
optimistic and really seemed to care about her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just did
No, I
not
get it.
like her.
That's okay. That is fine. Nobody's making you.
Yeah.
But so the way we're introduced to him is that he's kind of part of this group. Actually, the first thing he says is he starts talking about camels and how he doesn't know much about them, but he's really interested in them and they're so big. And I
Mhm.
just was like, I'm in love with you already. Like immediately.
Yes.
He was like immediately adorkable. He's
adorable.
adorkable.
He's adorable. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Totally.
And
His expressions, like, he just seems totally
can we take a
yeah.
moment to appreciate his range?
He has good range.
Because
He adds excitement to everything that he's in.
I agree. I want to take a moment to appreciate the range of from this guy who is so he's open. His heart is so open. He, like you said, he's optimistic. He's caring. He's a caretaker. Like
Mhm.
he's just his heart is just so big. And
he needs someone who can love him.
yes, he does. I don't know that she's in. And that's okay. And not everything has to work out. Now, this guy, Rick, and then you take somebody like Flip Zimmerman from Black Klansman, who is also a good person,
Mhm.
but is very sort of very closed off,
Mhm.
very like hides his emotions,
Yeah.
for protection.
Yeah.
The range of those two guys.
Yep.
And neither of the and it's not even saying like let's look at him, let's look at Rick, and then look at a villain character. Like these are two guys that are both good people, but
Mhm.
are so different.
Mhm.
Um,
And it still has a quality that's very him.
yes. But so soft around the edges. Some of the most like the softest, I
Just so
think.
cute. Just like, ugh.
Oh,
Reminds me of
Sarah, I
my
feel like I don't
boyfriend.
want to talk it up too much, but I feel like you're really going to love Patterson because that's another like very gentle character that he plays.
That's
Yeah, so Rick he's sweet. He talks a lot. He talks like I feel like Robin has some kind of like social anxiety. Like in that scene where she's with all of them and they're all talking, like she cannot handle all this talking. And I think part of it is that every time Rick is with her, he's like just talking, 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 talking. And I think it's a little much for her.
So maybe I I don't know. If someone else had made this, like maybe if a woman had directed it, do you think I would have more empathy for her? I
I
just feel like
don't.
the
I don't
way
think we're
if
meant to have empathy for her.
we're not, then why would we watch a movie about someone we don't have
I mean, I think we
empathy for?
can have empathy for her, but I don't think the movie is trying to make us feel I I'll tell you, Sarah, one of the things I like about the movie is that she isn't like that the movie isn't trying to make us like her. Like she's not apologizing for the way she is. She's flawed and damaged and closed off, and sometimes she makes bad decisions. And I think that we've seen lots of movies that have male protagonists like this who, like, we have revered those characters for being anti heroes. And yet, I feel like Rick's character, who's this loving, like, caretaker who she keeps pushing away, like, this is a relationship I typically see those genders reversed in other movies. And so there are women out there who are closed off and who have difficulty with intimacy, and that's what this person is. And I'm actually very happy to see that on screen. And so I don't feel like I have to like all the choices that she makes to empathize with her. I empathize with the fact that she obvious like that, and let's to circle back to the parents, that she is very early in her life learned that you cannot depend on people. People will leave you. People will disappoint you. And you cannot rely on them. And I think that's where she is emotionally, and that's why she wants to go out there alone. I think her friend who has all this concern for her, maybe living with this, obviously they were roommates, maybe living with her and having this very social person that she was living with, maybe that was too much for her and that she had to get out of there real quick, and that's why her friend has to come track her down. Like, I think this woman in the movie, I think she pushes away anyone who gets too close to her.
Maybe like that quality reminds me of people who have been in my life who are women who are like that, and I've always had problems with them, like somehow like they don't like me, I don't like them, like I can't relate to them, and so like this was just like a reminder of all those women who like pushed me away, or I don't know, like I just really 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 dislike that quality, and so it was really hard to watch. Like if I hadn't had to watch it for this podcast, I would have stopped watching like after like 10 minutes.
I get that.
Continued to stop
and I think Mia Wachowski was really really good. I thought she was very subtle as an actor. And I mean, we obviously had very different reads on this movie, and I think that's the beauty of film, is that like you're taking away like whatever your life experience is. But yeah, to circle back to her parents. So before she actually leaves, her father and her sister come to visit her one last time. And you can tell that she is happy to see them, but there isn't, like, I can already tell they're not very close. I could tell.
Yeah.
Her father is worried about her, but he doesn't seem to be able to reach out to her emotionally. And her sister is really just talking about how she's going to fail. Right? Also, they generally seem just disgusted with her living situation, which I can't blame them. She is squatting in an abandoned house. Yeah. And that's probably concerning for them. But nobody was out there caring for her up until that moment. So it seems like she does kind of have to make do on her own. And she does have a lot of people disappoint her. That guy at the ranch who offers her 2 camels, and all he does is work her, basically for free for 8 months, and then she gets nothing out of it. You know? He thinks that he's going to take her on as what do you think was going on with that guy at the first farm? Do you think he was trying to keep her working there until she just gave up on it? It seems like a lot of people were like, you're going to die out there.
Mm-hmm.
So what was his deal? Was he just trying to get free labor, or do you think he actually cared about her?
I didn't get the sense that anyone except for Adam's driver cared about her the whole film.
Really? Not even the second guy at the farm, the Muslim guy that she was working with? He seemed like he cared. The guy who gave her the first camel.
Yeah.
And I think there was like a study there between two different types. I think there's a lot here to do also with people and how they treat animals.
Mm-hmm.
And the first guy was all about beating the animal into submission.
Mm-hmm.
And the second guy was taught her to be non-threatening and how to communicate with the animal.
Yeah.
Although he was like, if you see a bull out if you see a bull out there coming at you, you shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But he had more a companionable relationship with animals than the first guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like you could kind of see those different father figures that kind of came through her life in this movie coming out as she interacted with those animals, which again, I think was another really beautiful motif in the movie, was how those people's personalities would come out. Like when the camels go missing that one morning. Do you remember the camel? She can't find them. And when she does, she beats one of them. But it's because she's so afraid that she doesn't want to be out there alone. Not out there alone without humans. The animals are her family. You know, the animals are the only family she has.
Yeah,
but then she immediately regrets it.
All of the, like, I know that the camels are throughout the film, and that was also something that I had a hard time with because I love animals so much that just seeing them like on screen and seeing them either in pain or like just out in the desert carrying things, like I really have a problem with like beasts of burden and and then I'm not going to jump ahead to like, but there are dead animals as well.
There's a lot.
Like, I just shut down when I see stuff like that.
I get it.
So
I'm sorry,
like,
God, that must
close off.
I mean, that there was some of that stuff was really hard for me too. I got to tell you, I was stressed about those camels. The whole movie. I was like, where are the camels? Are they okay? Has anyone checked on the camels?
Stressful.
Is someone giving the camels enough water? I was worried about the dog. I knew that dog wasn't going to make it through the movie, though. I knew it. I knew the day they walked out on that first leg of the trip, I was like, that dog
I always hope
is not coming back.
I'm always like, why are filmmakers putting dogs in movies that are going to kill them? Like, what have we learned to not do that? Like, people don't like that.
She did take the dog on the road with her.
People don't like to watch
he's
dogs
in the
dying.
pictures. I know they don't, but Sarah, this
is a true story.
Trip was, but also I tried to look up and see what actually happened to the real dog, but it was inconclusive. I don't know if that's how he actually died or not, but I guess if it's in the book, then it probably is that. I mean, they were. This was life or death.
Oh God!
She almost died out there.
I know. What? But okay.
So why is she out there?
That's something else.
Why? Really, why is she out there?
Me when people go on these death-defying missions, like I'm going to sail around the world by myself.
I agree.
Do something else by
fucking
myself.
Stupid.
Like, what the fuck are you trying
to take
up
a hobby?
You know what else?
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you about that.
This movie reminds me of Wild, which was also based on a book.
This also reminded me of Wild. I did not watch the movie, but I guess now that I've seen this one, I probably could. The reason I avoided the movie is because I've read the book. And I was like, I can't watch that scene where the horse gets shot. But now that I've watched a dog die of being poisoned to death, I think I could probably handle it.
There's a horse that's shot?
In Wild? Yes, in the book.
I didn't read the book.
They don't kill the horse in the movie? I thought they did.
I don't remember a horse being
She has
in
to
the
shoot
movie.
the door. She has to shoot a horse in the movie. When she's a kid, it's a flashback.
Oh. Did you see a clip of it?
No.
Because I don't think they include
So you mean I've not watched Wild this whole time because I thought a horse gets shot and the horse doesn't even get shot?
I've never seen...
Well, fuck me sideways.
A horse shot in a film.
Tweeted us at AdamAndyPod. Does the horse get shot in Wild? Somebody let me
Please,
know. I'll
because
watch it.
I
I'll
could
watch
be
it.
misremembering, but I
I mean,
literally don't
I made
remember.
it past. I made it through Diggity's untimely demise.
Like, I only
That
remember
scene was
flashbacks.
fucking hard to watch. That was
Yes.
hard. I would have been weeping. I
Mhm.
would have been weeping had I not been wearing my VR headset. I like to watch movies with my VR headset. I didn't want to fill it up with water, but I
At
was like,
that
my
point,
body was weeping.
I was pissed at that point. I was like, "How fucking dare this movie that I already hate
But
do this to me?"
you knew it was, you knew that,
I didn't.
you knew that that dog wasn't
I
going to make it.
didn't think that they would
Or one
do
of the
that to
camels.
me.
It was going to be baby camel or the dog. One of the two. Come on,
Ugh.
Sarah. You've seen enough of these movies. You know. What were you going to say
Why
about
would they
Wild?
do that?
I
Wild.
sidetracked you.
Yeah, no, Wild. I remember in the movie, the only flashbacks being where she is old enough to be portrayed by Reese. Like, I don't remember kid flashbacks. I could be
She
wrong,
did.
but
I believe she shot the horse when she was an adult. But anyway, I
oh,
don't know.
I don't know.
This reminded me of Wild 2, which was also about a woman whose life was broken.
Mhm.
And so she went out into nature to let nature break her down to
Mhm.
her essence. And that's
It's
what
like the exact same thing,
I
yeah.
feel like that's what she, but this is a thing that many people have done.
Yeah.
And I don't think, but it's usually a journey that's attributed to men.
Mm.
And men and their prowess and their but it's also usually about men conquering nature, but I don't feel like that's what this movie is about. I don't feel like this movie is about her conquering nature. I feel like this is about her submitting to nature and to what is going on inside of her, and finally letting herself crack the shell. She's like got this hard shell and she's letting herself like rub herself raw walking through this. I don't know. That's kind of how I
So,
saw it.
I guess that's something else that's just occurred to me. We're not given a glimpse of her internal life. Like, that's why
In what way?
this is a book. Like, in the book, does she describe her thoughts? Does she describe how she feels? Because in the film, she doesn't describe her thoughts or how she feels. We just see her face.
Which I felt like I felt like I got everything that I needed. I mean, I'm sure the book would expand upon that, but I felt like
I
this is a woman again who's, so let's talk about this. So her mother, so let's talk about her life for a second. It's not just that she had a bad relationship with her family. It goes further than that. She's had a hard fucking life. She grew up
Mhm.
on a farm in, and I don't know shit about, I don't really know a lot about Australia. So if any of our listeners are from Australia and we get anything wrong today and you want to correct us, please tweet at us at AdamAndyPod. If there's anything that you can add to the discussion, not to put that burden upon our Australian listeners, but I know that there are going to be things regionally and culturally that I miss here. So she grows up in a place where the farmer, so she has that, after she's out for a while, she has breakfast with that farm and that farm. And he says that wherever she grew up, Queensland, I believe, is a tough place, right?
Mhm.
She grew up on a farm. They had a drought for 7 years, lost the farm, and became very poor. And then her mother killed herself. And then her father immediately sends her off to somebody else. So she doesn't even get to stay with her family. So her father's reaction is to send his children away from him and to put her dog to sleep, the dog
Mhm.
that she loves.
Yeah.
So to me, this indicates that already in her family, before her mother's passing, that perhaps the dog was the emotional anchor that she wasn't getting from the rest of her family.
Mhm.
And so they're putting the dog down. And so she has to tell the dog. And again, in all the flashbacks that I feel like I needed, the dog's trying to follow her and she's telling the dog to stay, as though the dog doesn't mean anything to her, so that it won't follow her to the car. All of that I found to be very heartbreaking. So you have
Oh, yeah, heartbreaking.
this child who can't trust anybody else with her emotions. She can only trust animals. And so it's led to this woman who cannot open herself up to connections or intimacy, right? She cannot have intimacy. That doesn't mean she doesn't have significant relationships in this movie, but usually it's someone as a teacher trying to teach her something. She can be, it can't get too deep. emotionally.
Mhm.
But and then she meets Rick, this guy who, and again, I'm talking about Rick in the movie, not the real Rick. I don't know what he's actually like. I didn't read he has a book as well. I did not read his book. Um she meets this guy Rick who immediately is open. His heart is so open. So of course she has to push him away.
Mhm.
Because he immediately cares about her, he wants to help her, he talks too much for her. And he immediately and he doesn't really want anything from her. Like he doesn't put the moves on her or anything like that.
Well, how it happens is she's, like, complaining and, like, angry at him, and then she just leans over and kisses him, and then
I
cut
think
to they have sex, and they wake up the next day, and
and
he tries to give her a kiss, and
she's acting like nothing happened. Yeah.
yeah. And he's like, "I think I'm gonna stay for a few days, I don't know how long he said," and she was like, "Why?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
She pushes him away.
ugh.
I think there's a part of her that was seeking that intimacy. Like I think you
Mhm.
can see the more that she is on the road, the more she actually finds that she needs people.
Yeah.
And I think her and Rick sleeping together is a part of her realizing for that moment that she actually
Mhm.
does want connection and intimacy.
Mhm.
But then when she gets it and there's somebody who wants to stick around,
She's like, "Nope."
no, she's not ready for that.
Because what happens the next day when you don't wanna stick around?
Exactly. You want to stick around today, but if I let you in,
I'm not gonna want you to leave.
exactly. See,
And
Sarah? There
everyone
is
leaves.
something to empathize with here. There is something. Who
I
doesn't?
know, I'm just so sick
It's
of it. I've
okay
just
for
seen
you
this a
not to
million
like this movie.
times.
It's okay for you not to like this movie. You've seen it a million times with who?
No, I mean, I've seen the pushing away because you can't deal with intimacy. Like, I guess I'm just, like,
But isn't
sick
that a
of
trait that's usually put on men?
true, yes.
But I do think that there are plenty of women who struggle with that and they don't have a lot of stories about them that are
Mhm.
told. I
Yeah.
do think Wild, the woman in Wild, Cheryl Strayed, I think she also has that. I
Yeah.
think these movies are very
And
parallel.
there's a scene in Wild where she does, like, have sex with a guy who she meets that she just needs connection.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um,
And again, I read the book. I didn't see the movie, but yeah, I remember her struggling with people in her life that she did love and intimacy because she couldn't allow herself to be loved.
mhm.
And I don't think everything is always about whether your parents are fucked up or you're fucked up. I think it's just like if there's a significant event in your life that makes you go, "Oh, I cannot let my heart get broken again." You know? I can't. Whatever that is. Whether it's your mother dying of cancer like in Wild, or it's your mother committing suicide and your father pushing you away because he can't deal with the pain of losing his wife, I assume. Whatever that event is that causes your heart to get broken, it's very difficult to let like a pure cinnamon roll like Rick into your life who's just going to
Cinnamon
come in and
roll.
go, "You know, I know you won't stop this death march, but I am going to leave water cans for you every couple of miles so that you don't die."
I know. I just like, oh, I love
He's the
him.
sweetest. I love him
So sweet.
so much.
I want him.
I think I am first of all, I am horny for nerds.
Yes.
Okay? He is, and this guy is a stone cold dork.
Mhm.
The biggest dork I think I've ever seen
His
Adam Driver
glasses are
play.
dorky too.
He's so dorky. I love him so much.
Yep, he reminds me of some of the dorks in my life who I love, so
he is adorkable.
yes.
And so I think he might be one of the most charming Adam Driver characters that I feel like we've seen.
Yeah.
there's not that much of him in this movie, but
No.
every time that little Jeep rolls up, I'm like, yes, it's
Yeah.
more. Give me more Rick.
I know, I was like, "I need more Ri" like, what I wanted out of this movie was I wanted there to be some more connection with them. I wanted her
Hmm.
walls to come down. I wanted there it to, like, go somewhere. It didn't go anywhere. It was just like she was just this broken person the whole time.
I don't think so. I think she struggled with it for a long time. I think the first real breakdown of her walls is after her dog dies, and then they find her. He finds her and he says, "I've been looking for you for a week," and all those reporters are there, and he like then she's kind of ready. I'm thinking
How does it
specifically.
end again? Can you tell
Well,
me how
I'm
it
thinking
ends?
specifically of the scene. I'm thinking specifically of the scene where she says, I'm so alone." Like when she finally starts crying, she says, "I'm so alone," and he says, "We're all alone."
Right. But
And
she's still broken. Like, there's no healing.
I don't agree because I think that the healing is that she decides to go on with the journey, and I felt like to me the making it to the ocean and her animals like in the ocean, and the way that when she sees Rick, the way that their relationship has changed at this point. She's happy to see him, he's happy to see her, and I didn't need them to end up together. Like I felt like a friendship, and that maybe they were lovers, maybe they were friends. I didn't need to put a label on it, but I felt like to me from the time that like her being genuinely relieved to see him, when she was just going to she felt it seemed like she was just going to let herself die in the woods for a while there.
Mhm.
Her being genuinely happy to see him and letting him help her. Like him saying, I'm going to sidetrack them so they don't, bother you. And then he, like the fact that she's not I feel like their relationship really changed from that moment on. And I don't think it felt realistic to me, to be honest. I feel like I saw her beginning to understand what had brought her out there, because I don't think she really knew what she was doing out there. And she says to him, "I just miss her so much."
Mhm.
And who do you think she was talking about?
Her mom?
I think it could have been her mom. I think it could have been the dog. I think it could have been the dog she lost when she was a little girl.
Mhm.
That's what I loved about that moment, was that I felt like it means so many things. And I feel like the moment we notice her recognizing that, like, I actually do want people. I do want connection. And it felt realistic to me that it wouldn't be fixed right away. That she would decide to continue her journey, but to me it felt like the ending had hope. I felt
Mhm.
hope. Also, his little feet with his giant feet. I'm sorry, his giant feet sticking out of the window with the sand on it. Do you remember, like at the end? You didn't watch this movie, Sarah? Not really. You
I
were.
was so like, I was so mad the
You don't
entire
remember this
time.
part? His like feet were. He was like on the beach waiting for her, reading a book, and his feet were sticking out of the window, and they just panned to his feet, and I was like, that's Adam Driver for sure, and his
Oh.
giant feet, and they had sand all
I
over them.
don't know no notice feet, I guess. I don't know. Like, I just, like
Sarah, I know it's below the shoulders, but feet, come on. Feet.
Oh my god. It doesn't, like bo bodies don't stick out to me. Like, they just don't.
The camera was right on it.
I'm just saying it doesn't make an impression on me. Like, how someone looks doesn't make that much of an impression on me.
Okay. I've got a couple more things on my list. Any other things that did you have anything that you wanted to talk about before I move on to a couple of I got some things on my list that are not really about her or Rick that I wanted to mention.
One thing about Rick, that as
And
just
we could talk
a
about Rick all
random
the live
thing.
long
Well,
day.
it's just a random thing. There are lots of flies in his face. That's all I have to say.
Constantly. I felt so bad for Adam because I was like, are those flies like is that just what it's like out there?
No,
Like you
I
could
was
see
like,
him just like blowing them out of his face
but,
constantly. He's
like,
like
after, like, so many shots of it with, like, flies in his face and no flies in her face, I was like, "Is this symbolic of something? What is this movie trying to tell
I
me
don't
about
think so.
flies?"
I mean, I think they just were like he's I think they were
He's
just
fake
they
me.
they were like attracted to his stone cold dork sexiness. They were like, this. Let's buzz around this
Stone
guy.
cold dork sexiness. Oh gosh.
Um. So a couple things I wanted to address. So as one would expect in this time period, the 1970s, there was a lot of, but I don't feel like it was like too heavy-handed. There was a lot of things about women and what women could and couldn't do. At first they didn't think, like a lot of people didn't think she could make it across because she was a woman. She wasn't allowed. There was certain rules about from, in some of the tribesmen that she was with, whether or not she could cut animals herself. There was, a lot of people mistaking Rick for her husband. There was like,
Mhm.
different things like that. I don't know if you wanted to respond to any of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely seemed like what I heard the 70s were like.
Well, I think we need
Yeah.
to appreciate, even though I do feel like her journey is in a lot of ways very foolish. And I think the movie doesn't. I think the movie also. I think another thing the movie does that I like, that maybe I don't know, you may not have liked this, is that it doesn't pass judgment on whether her choices are foolish or not. It just kind of presents, says,
Yeah.
here's what happened, and I
Yeah.
appreciated that. It lets me draw my own conclusion, which
Yeah.
is at times it was foolish, but it also seemed to give her some kind of something she needed at this time in her life. And also, I mean, that was a big thing she accomplished. Yes, she had some help along the way, but I think allowing people to help her was also part of her journey.
I think this film believed in her.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like, I don't think it was saying, "This is stupid." I think it was saying, "She can do this." Like, I don't know, that's just what
I
I
th-
got from it.
I didn't think it necessarily said that. I think it said this is like a big thing that she did, that she accomplished. But I think it also was like, I mean, she could have fucking died out there. Like, she really could have.
And I guess it did make me think, like, maybe she does want to die. Like, maybe this is just a way to kill herself.
I wondered that too, because I think she did address suicide and what those feeling, like she did just address suicidal ideation a bit, I think, in one of her
Mhm.
monologues. So would you have been happy if you got more of those monologues, maybe? Would that have helped you think, to get inside of
Yes,
her
I
head a little
needed
bit?
yeah, that was something else that I wrote down. I needed more words.
Hmm.
Like, I'm very, like, I need words. I don't if I just see images, it does nothing for me. Like, looking at images of faces and scenery, boring. It's boring. Like, I just don't like it.
I usually feel that way too. But I didn't feel that way in this movie. I really did get drawn in, and I felt like her performance was like gave me pretty much everything that I needed from her. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, and again, this is where my lack of understanding about Australia and the indigenous peoples of that area is going to be lacking here. But I definitely saw there was a lot in here. I definitely saw her as well as kind of the, and I'm going to put this in quotes, good white woman who wants to feel like she's not part of the problem.
Mhm.
There was some, it didn't get into it too deeply, but we definitely saw some imagery of indigenous people being mistreated,
Mhm.
the way that they were, a lot of them seem to be living in poverty. And she did trek across land that was supposed to be sacred. Um, but it seemed like she felt herself to be a part, not a part of the white people problem. In fact, she actually accuses Rick of being part of the problem. Um, but yet, when she has opportunities to do something about it, she doesn't. Like, one example I can think of is, um, so Rick goes off and photographs this really sort of intimate ritual when they're like staying on someone's land that he's not supposed to see, and she gives him shit about it,
Mhm.
which she should, but then she doesn't do anything about it.
Mhm.
And then when the people staying there basically are like, you gotta get the fuck out of here, lady, because your boyfriend photographed this ritual. She's like, he's not my boyfriend, but tell them I'm sorry. And it's like, why don't you tell them yourself?
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
So I did like that. I thought that was I'm not sure if the movie really took a significant stance on that, but I definitely think there were undertones of like, you know, she thinks she's above them. She thinks she's above the rest of the white folk and how they treat,
Mhm.
you know, the indigenous people, but she's almost like one of those like sarong wearing like you know you know, new age white women who's like, I'm getting in touch with my inner goddess or something. You know what I mean? Like there's a bit of that nonsense I think going on. I don't
I
know. What do you
didn't
think about
like
that?
Yeah. I didn't like how they didn't give captions for what the indigenous people were
Mm.
saying because,
Mhm.
like, I understand that maybe the movie was trying to say she doesn't understand, so you
Mhm.
shouldn't, understand, but what it read to me was, "We don't care what they're saying." Like, they're
I
just
could see that.
talking gibberish, and we don't need to know, we don't care.
I definitely didn't read it like that. I read it as the first thing, which was that we are in her point of view for the whole movie, and she doesn't understand what they're saying. She also didn't seem to try to learn. I do wish I do think the movie could have made a more definitive stance on what that means, but again, I think the movie's point of view was not to necessarily judge in any way, so much as to present what occurred and let you draw your own,
Mhm.
you know,
I
conclusions
was
about
just
it.
ready to interpret everything about this movie in the wrong way. Like,
I
I
know you
just
did not like it. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay that you didn't like it. I liked it a lot. I don't know that I'd watch it again. I would definitely watch the scenes with Rick again.
Mhm. Just do a cut of Rick
I
scenes.
mean, there is one on YouTube.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, you could just go back and watch just his scenes. Somebody's cut them all together. I think there's probably everything Adam Driver's ever been in. I think somebody has made a cut of just his scenes. I can see you're delighted by that. Maybe you could go back and just watch that, and like that'll cleanse your palate a little bit.
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy. I didn't. I'm not going to say enjoy because there were certainly some tough moments, but I did. I did think this movie was beautiful, and it did have an impact on me. Um. Okay. Oh, also, I wanted you to know that I don't know if you noticed this in the credits, but when they were listing all the animals and what their real names were, the dog actor that plays Diggity, his real name is Special Agent Gibbs,
Oh my
and I
god.
just thought you'd really enjoy that.
I didn't see that. Yeah, I
Do we need to
stopped
talk
it.
about that scene, or
No.
you don't want to?
Nope.
Okay,
It was
that's fair.
very setting.
It was.
That was when I messaged you. I was like, "Nope."
I know that scene was hard. Yeah.
You can talk about it. I'm just gonna, not
No, we
listen.
don't
I'm
have
just
to
kidding.
talk about it. I think we kind of already did. I think that was a breaking point for her. Um, I mean, I really do think those animals were her family,
Mhm.
and I think that she felt safe opening her heart to them because their hearts are so open and pure.
Yeah. They're not
And
gonna
I don't want to
reject her.
compare Rick to a dog,
Go
but
ahead.
I kind of am a little bit. Like just like the animals in the movie, like I think what allows him to crack her shell a bit is that he keeps coming back. Like no matter what she says or does, it's not like he does get visibly upset about her sort of, I mean, it's bold as fuck to ghost somebody who you have to see every couple of weeks for the next year or so. Like she's going to see him every couple of weeks, and she emotionally ghosted him after they slept
Mhm.
together.
Mhm.
But despite that, and the fact that you can see he's visibly upset about the way he's being treated. He keeps coming back and he keeps trying to help her and he doesn't stop caring no matter what she does. And he keeps trying to take care of her as best as she'll let him. And I think that loyalty is what allows her to trust him in the end. I just love him. He's so precious.
He's very precious.
Final thoughts on Tracks. You're just gonna stare. You're just gonna glare into the camera.
No, I mean, I feel like I've said everything, and I don't want to be like beat a dead horse. Jeez, that was not a good good metaphor.
Would you recommend this film to a fan of Adam Driver's work?
Yes, I would.
Okay, but with the caveat of there's some hard shit ahead.
And I also will say that while I hated this film, I'm not saying it's a bad film. I'm just saying it didn't triggered me in some deep way that I don't understand, like, why I hate it so much. Like, I've described specific things of that I hate, but I'm just like, I don't understand, like, truly why I hate it so much. Like,
Might I suggest that you get a couple of camels and walk from here to South Beach, Miami.
Oh my God.
And think about why you don't like this movie. I'm kidding. I would recommend this film to a fan of Adam Driver's work. I think it's actually one of the better films that we've watched, to be honest. I actually contemplated creating like a whiteboard. So we've watched Black Klansman, Tracks, While We're Young, Marriage Story,
the
Dead Don't Die.
Dead Don't Die.
And what
Star Wars.
Okay, we can't rank that one. You can't. I can and I won't. I can't and I won't. I can't and I won't.
All right.
And What If? And well, this is where I leave you. Right. So we've watched 7 movies. We've watched 7 movies.
Well, for him.
For him, yes. Maybe we should spend some more time thinking on this. Here's what I'd like to do, Sarah. Next time we meet and powwow about Adam Driver, I would like you to, let's make a scale. On one end, that your favorite, and on the other end, your least favorite Adam Driver movie that we've watched, and then sort of rank all the ones in between. I definitely would recommend this one. I do think it is better than a lot of the other, not better than a lot of, but I think of the ones that we've watched, I think it's better of some of the best filmmaking of what we have watched. I certainly enjoyed watching this more than like While We're Young. I don't know that you feel that way. You really didn't like this one. I feel like this is definitely better than What If, the movie What If. So I'll rank them. I'll rank them. We'll rank them. You'll rank yours. I'll rank mine. Next time we get together, we'll
It's weird.
compare
I don't
notes.
really like the films I've seen him in so far. Like, I don't really.
You didn't like Black Klansman? You didn't like?
I liked it, yes, but it's not like none of them have been really like.
I love The Dead Don't Die. I could watch that one 100 times.
Like, I just really don't like.
You don't like
we've seen,
except for The Force Awakens.
Yes, that one's good.
I don't know. Even though I don't love, I think What If is probably going to go on my low end. I think that's the one I liked the least. This is Where I Leave You. I think you like that one. All right. There's, well, we could talk about it, but I think I like most of his movies to some degree, but some more than others. This is Where I Leave You is the one about the Shiva. If you're trying to remember which one that is.
Yeah, I was like, you saw my eyes like.
Oh, Logan Lucky? That was a good one. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah, I think that none of them are films that I would watch again. I guess is what I'm saying. Like, they're not like a feel-good watch again and again.
What's a movie that you would watch again, like, in your life? Well, you would watch some of Andy's movies again, I guess. No?
Uh,
You've literally
Palm
watched Palm
Springs.
Springs like 3
Palm
times.
Springs, yeah.
That you know what I wouldn't watch again? That's My Boy.
Nope. No need.
Moments of Thirst.
I have 5.
I have 6.
Ooh.
Who should go first? Why don't you go first, Sarah? Why don't you go
Okay.
first? Give us your thirst.
Okay. And some of them are just like general moments. Some of them
Lay
are
them on me.
okay. 1. When Rick
Number 1.
smiles in a naive, wholesome way.
Oh my god!
He's just
When he's talking about the camels in the very first time we
just
meet
like-
him. Yes, I know. He's
Yeah.
literally got stars in his eyes. It's ridiculous. I agree.
2. When Rick is about to rub her back, like when she's like crying and she's like,
and he wants to touch her, but he's not sure if it's welcome. I know. Oh my god. He wants to be a caregiver so badly.
Yeah. 3. Just in general, Rick offering to help Robin and showing concern for her. 4. Rick kissing Robin in the morning after and looking at her hopefully.
I know.
5. Rick never being cross, irritable, or negative, and always being gentle, patient, and kind. Those are my thirsty moments.
Sarah is turned on by men who care.
Yes.
That is her kink, ladies and gentlemen.
It's true.
I love it. I love it. I love all those. I agree wholeheartedly. Mine's going to get a little more focused on the physical. Let's get to it. But actually, the top of my list is that Rick is a huge dork. He's a great big nerd, and I am hot for nerds. So let it be said that I'm hot for nerds, and that is my number 1 thing. Number 2, the 70s wardrobe. I love a man dressed in the 70s. I liked his, and it wasn't like overly 70s. It was just like the shirts and like that green cable knit sweater when they're by the campfire was just like, I mean, it was a work of art. So I loved the wardrobe in this movie. I wrote shorts in all caps like 4 times.
Nicole, we need to watch these movies and then like seriously.
How do you not see his gorgeous meaty thighs, Sarah? How can I feel
Adam movie we watch? I have to watch it.
I can't promise he's going to wear shorts.
I'm just telling you because you have to point out things.
Sarah, he was wearing shorts multiple times. He was playing like soccer or something with a bunch of kids.
I don't remember shorts.
They were 70s shorts, so they were short as hell. They were like at least 3 to 4 inches above the knee.
70s shorts. Oh my gosh, how did I miss it?
Well, go back and go to YouTube. Look at the cut of the Rick only cut. It's probably like 15 minutes long. And get a gander at those beautiful meaty thighs.
Okay.
They're gorgeous.
You know I like men's thighs.
The shorts. The shorts. I would watch this movie again just to watch the scenes of Rick wearing the shorts. Okay. Let's see. His general unkemptness, like he was very scraggly, and I was like really into that. Let's see. His caregiving was very sexy, which I think we've both already said. And I already said this, and you may not have noticed, but his adorable sandy feet made me very thirsty at the end of the movie when he meets her on the beach. And those were my moments of thirst. Sandy feet.
As you would imagine, I'm normally up for pretty much anything in the bedroom. But I can't tell if what happened was weird or sexy.
All right. Are we ready for some Adam and Andy trivia?
Yes.
Adam or Andy, a trivia contest for one. Sarah's going to give me something. I might guess. She might tell me some trivia. Who knows what's going to happen? Let's find out.
This is a true blue Adam or Andy, so you're going to guess who it is.
Okay, I'm so excited.
A quote.
Ooh.
Has nothing to do with the films they've done. It has about the Golden Globes. Okay. Who said it?
Who said it?
Okay, I'm
into it. I'm ready.
At the Golden Globes, it was more awkward because no one knew who I was at all. So they didn't even take my picture. They just put their cameras down and look at me, and I'd look right back at them and wait to go down to the next group of people who had no idea who I was. Was this said by Andy in 2007 or by Adam in 2013?
I'm going to guess by Adam in 2013 because that's when Girls swept the Golden Globes.
You are correct.
Because I feel like Andy was kind of like internet famous before he would have been at the Golden Globes. Like I feel like he had already had his like dick in the box fame, I think.
Well, not in 2007. 2007 was Hot Rod.
Right.
But that wouldn't have been a Golden Globe.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
Can you imagine Hot Rod up for a Golden Globe? I feel like I recently saw an interview with Andy about the dance from Hot Rod. I'll have to circle back to you on that because I think he was on Stephen Colbert. When he was on Stephen Colbert, I'm pretty sure he talked about the dance from Hot Rod. And
I love the dance from Hot Rod.
He said that a lot of it was him. Now that I remember, a lot of that was him.
I knew it. I told you.
He said a lot of that was him dancing, but that none of it was him falling down the hill. That was all a stunt double except for the very end. Anyway, please continue. Also, I don't know if it was the way you read it, but something about that quote sounded very Adam Driver, just, continuing to lowball himself and just be like, yeah, I'm just a nobody.
Well,
he seemed very grumpy.
Made me, it tickled me to imagine no one knowing who he was.
Which is crazy. Do you think now he's like, I wish I could go back to the days where I didn't have cameras in my face all the time?
Yes.
God, I bet he was feeling that way in Italy with those relentless Italian paps who were just constantly snapping photos of him 24/7. Please, is that it?
That's it.
Oh, well, that was great. I love it. Huzzah!
Oh, you look awesome. Come the fuck upstairs.
Okay.
But wait, I have to warn you about something.
What?
If you come up here, I'm going to tie you to my bed and keep you for at least 3 days. I'm just in that kind of mood.
Now, ordinarily, we would spin the wheel at this point. But we all know what we're watching, right? We all know.
5, 6, 7, 8.
We're going to be watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine this week. However, I did think it might be fun to see what the names of the episodes are. So it looks, or I'll read the log line here. So the next episodes we're going to be watching next week, guys, is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, episodes 5 through 8. First, starting with The Vulture. A detective from Major Crimes takes over Jake's nearly solved murder case and steals his thunder. So that's the first one. Halloween. Jake makes a foolish bet with Holt that he can steal his Medal of Valor before Halloween is over. So this is the first Halloween heist. We're getting our first Halloween heist. While Amy is forced to wear a costume while undercover with Charles. So that's going to be fun. 48 hours. Jake stupidly arrests a male suspect despite having no evidence and has only 48 hours to prove he did it or release him without the charge. And number 8, Old School. Jake is horrified when his hero, Jimmy Brogan, a crime writer, accompanies him on a job and threatens to quote him in a damning article. Meanwhile, Rosa has to work on her attitude on court. So that's going to be fun. Those are the next 4 episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine that we're going to be watching. And I'm thrilled. It's going to be really. This is going to be a completely different vibe from this week. Sarah, thank you for suffering through this movie for the artistic integrity of this podcast. I know that you didn't enjoy this movie, and I appreciate your thoughts on it and the fact that...
I'm sorry I complained so much.
It's not complaining. It's like literally how you feel about the movie. You don't have to like every movie we watch. And I know that it was unpleasant for you, but I hope that Rick made it a little bit better.
He did.
Listeners, it's always a pleasure to take this journey with you. So let us know what you think of the show. You can find us or anything. If you got some tracks facts, I feel like we missed an opportunity. If you got some tracks facts or anything, or movie suggestions or anything you'd like to see us talk about or cover on the show, or if you just want to say hi, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Adam and Andy Podcast, and you can find us on Twitter at Adam Andy Pod. Of course, this podcast is available on all the things, and if you like the show, consider maybe, I don't know, leaving us a review. It's nice. It's nice when people do this. It's nice. It feels good. it gives me the warm fuzzies.
Yeah.
And it helps people find the show, which is also cool. All right, Sarah. So we're gonna be watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine next. And I'm not gonna lie, I might go on YouTube right now and just watch a supercut of Brick.
That's
I might do it.
Did you send me a link?
I will send you a link, in fact.